All right. What is so fucking funny? Works with you later. All right, the next person coming to the stage is going to be telling a little story to all of us. And is alcohol really, like, can you get a noisier bag? Why don't you carry it around in the silk sheet like I do? Like, I don't get it. Anyway, we have someone coming up to the stage to tell a story to all of us. And a little fun fact about her is that she loves manatees. That's gross. Heather Murphy, everybody.
Hey everyone. It's a little hot up here. Sweaty. All right, let's start this. My junior year of undergrad, I was given the opportunity to go anywhere in the world that I wanted to go. The only condition was that I had to go for 6 months and stay in the same exact place the whole time and do anthropological research, which is a really fancy way of saying live there, watch other people live there, and write about it. So it was a pretty solid opportunity, right? Which was pretty awesome, but it also totally terrified me. Because if you should know something about me, you should know that I'm not a very adventurous person. I don't really do things that scare me, like this. And I was like that kid that I was afraid to get naked in the bathtub because I was afraid to be naked in a bathtub. And I didn't go on a roller coaster until my senior year of high school because I was so afraid of them. And I also only ate chicken nuggets growing up with ranch dressing because I was afraid to try anything else. So I was pretty terrified about this idea of going somewhere by myself and doing things every day that I didn't have a schedule for. Because there wasn't a plan for what I was supposed to do there other than live and write about it. But I think what I was most afraid of actually was this idea that I might go and I would finally discover that I don't have the chops, that I couldn't make it, that I wasn't going to be cool enough or adventurous enough, that I wasn't going to be one of those people that comes back from traveling abroad and is like, oh, I love traveling. I was going to come back and be like, fuck, I'm never going again. That was terrifying. That's honestly what I was most afraid of. But I was also too afraid of what everyone would think if I didn't take this opportunity, which tells you how much I value other people's opinion. So I went. I decided to go. But I made a compromise and I forced a friend to come with me so I didn't have to go by myself. And she did the same thing I was doing, only a village that was a 20-minute bus ride away. So we went, and it was kind of crazy. And we did a lot of things. One weekend we decided to go on a hike to a waterfall in the mountains behind where we were living. And it was a beautiful day at the waterfall. Yay, we had a picnic, it was great. But by mid-afternoon I really had to pee. And there wasn't really a place around this waterfall where you could go pee in private, which is important to me. So we headed back along the trail, and I thought I'll just hop off at some point. So I did. I found a little spot with some trees, threw my backpack down, turned around, popped a squat. So relieving, so satisfying. But then I heard it. Oh God, that sound. My backpack sliding against the tree and falling down the mountainside. By the time I finished peeing and pulled up my pants and turned around to look, it was gone. I had no idea where it had gone. I mean, I knew it went down the mountain, but I couldn't see it anywhere. And I probably should have just left it. I mean, yeah, I could have left it, but it had my camera in it. It had all my photos from last month of the trip, and I had to prove to everyone how cool I was, right, by posting it on Facebook later. So I couldn't leave them behind. And so I decided, well, this mountain looks not too steep, so I'll just climb down there and get it. So I sent my friend Chrissy around the road to the other side of the kind of like ravine, and so she could like look down and see if she could see my backpack, and then I started down the slope. And for the first 15 or 20 feet, it was steep, but it was manageable. I was kind of sliding along on my butt and holding on to like various bushes and rocks to stop me from falling all the way. But then I got to sort of the end of what I could originally see, and I realized why I couldn't see any further. It's because I was looking over a sheer drop-off. And as I'm sitting there, holding a bush and a rock, looking over this crevice, I think two things. One, I don't think I can go back up. I think I have to go down. And two, I think I might actually die today. So I don't really want that to happen though, like that's not really on my plan list. It wasn't on my planner for the day to die. So I decide I'm gonna find something else to do, and I see a tree that's kind of growing sideways out from the mountain over into the space where the cliff is. And so I think, well, I'll just crab walk my way over there and I'll grab onto the tree, and then maybe like as I'm shimmying down the tree, my weight will kind of cause the tree to bend and it will gently deposit me on the far side of this little drop-off. Seemed like a great plan. So I get over there and I'm about to grab onto it when I realize that the whole underside of the tree is covered with Himalayan spiders. And if you know anything about the Himalayas, it's just like Texas, everything is bigger there.
Yeah.
And regular sized spiders are about that big there, and big spiders in the Himalayas are about that big. And it was a mix of both underneath the tree. I really hate spiders. So I just decided, well, it's either this or, I don't know, a fall or something. So I grabbed hold of that thing and craned my neck as far away from the tree as I possibly could. And I just slid down that tree. I didn't shimmy like I probably should have. I just slid down it as fast as possible and landed in a rather undignified heap after falling about 10 feet at the end of the tree. But when I landed on the ground, I didn't have any spiders on me. Whew, I beat them all. So that was exciting and terrifying. And I still had a lot of mountain left to go, so great. But the rest of the mountain pretty much kind of went like the beginning part, like I just sort of slid on my ass and grabbed like a random rock or random branch every once in a while to kind of steady myself. And except for the last 10 feet, I was holding onto this bush, and then it like just pulled out of the rock and then it just like fell on the ground. It's very graceful. Thanks for that. When I fell, my backpack was right there, which was great. I found it. Found my backpack. And I was so relieved at the time and so like hyped up on all the adrenaline that I just like wanted to like lay there and cry or laugh or just die. I wasn't really quite sure, but I was feeling a lot of things. I was really excited that I found my backpack, but then it started to rain. And I knew that if I didn't like climb back up this fucking mountain now, I was gonna be stuck there and it was gonna be raining and wet and muddy and there was no way I was ever gonna get back up. So my friend Chrissy, who had gone around to the other side, found this like path back up through all these like rocks where there was like an avalanche. And she was like, just climb up here, this will be fine. Great. So I'm climbing back up and they're getting wetter and wetter and slippier and slippier. But I eventually get up to the top. I kiss that trail. It's so delicious. I don't know what's happening. Should I address the problem? Okay, I'm just gonna keep going since I'm sure you're all super excited to hear how this goes. So I hit the top of the trail, right? And by then it's pouring rain. And it's also been about like an hour since I went down and back up. And I'm really tired and muddy from head to toe. But Chrissy just looks at me, my friend, and she's like, girl, we gotta run, because we both know that this trail that we're walking on, that's like little dirt trail, is gonna become like a river of mud if the rain keeps up like it's going. So we just start running, just fucking running. And I'm not adventurous, I don't exercise. So it was a lot of work. At some point during that run back to the trailhead, it also started hailing. And you know, hail balls in the Himalayas, they're not normal sized either. They were like golf ball sized. So they're like pelting us in the head, and I'm like doing this weird running dance move now because I'm trying to twist my ankle as I'm like dodging around these like giant ass golf balls that are all over the ground. And eventually we get back to the trailhead, and it's like, my savior. There's this little chai stand there that has like a little tarp over the top, and we're like, oh my god, yes, finally we can get out of the rain. I can catch my breath. So we run in there, but it only takes like a minute for us to realize that it's filled with a bunch of the young Indian guys that live in the area locally, and there's no women in sight other than the two of us. And it only takes about a minute for one of them to try to grab my boobs. Which, admittedly, I'm sure I was egging him on, because by this point I was wearing this like clingy t-shirt, and I was like soaked from head to toe and muddy, and I'm sure I looked just like one of those sexy girls out of disaster apocalypse movies. So it was totally my fault. But I didn't really want to stick around to see what would happen next. So Chrissy and I just look at each other and we're like, fuck it, we're gonna keep running. So we start running again, and this time a couple of the guys from the chai shack follow us. So now I'm not only outrunning the rain and the hail, but I'm outrunning a couple of Indian guys that are peltering us with questions like, where are you from and where are you staying? Which kind of makes sense, and then some more like nonsensical questions like, do you like dancing? Yes, but fuck off. Eventually, finally, by the time we get to the main road where Chrissy and I have to like leave to go back to our respective homes, the guys have given up the chase, thank goodness. So we say a quick goodbye, and then I run the rest of the way home, where a nice cold bucket shower is waiting for me. Yeah, it's great. And looking back on it now, I'm so surprised that I like survived that story at all, that I didn't have like a complete and total mental breakdown. Because I don't do stuff like that. But at the same time, I wouldn't trade that day for any other day that's come since. Because I feel like I realized I do have the chops.
Give it up for Heather, everybody. Alright, so you learned two things from that story. One, Heather is bad at adventures. Two, some people on the side of the room cannot hold their alcohol. We can hear you.